was getting into that little Chinese beat there. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to TAN TV, the African American Network. We have a local feel with global reach. You're watching Out of Bounds with me, Henry, Vonda, and Denise. And
Hey.
we're going to talk about sexual harassment and where do we draw the line. But before we get into that, let's just come up to a little current events real quick, if y'all don't mind. What is your opinion on all these indictments with ex-president, former President Trump, and his bullying of everybody in his way? Anybody got anything on that? Just
Man,
your
I don't,
opinion.
Terry, I don't understand how we're in this situation that we're in with Donald Trump. Uh, he's been impeached. There's allegations and so forth that he's coming in, and of course, he's just pleaded not guilty, and he still has a forum. So I don't know anybody in the United States that could have been in his current situation and still have the avenues to run for president, uh, or even have a voice whatsoever, man. So I just totally disagree with this whole arena that it's a dog and pony show
Mm-hmm.
from my perspective that Trump is doing. Because it is just it's a farce, man. Anybody else would be either in jail or thoroughly prosecuted, man.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. I agree with
Ladies,
him. Yeah, I don't see how he gets away with all this stuff and all the stuff that he's done and the lying and the name calling and just everything that he's done. Like Jim said, I don't know nobody in the United States that can get away. And being a former president, I don't know how anybody can do that.
When you think you're above the law, that's how you behave. When you think money
that's
can buy
number one. That's
everything and get you out of everything, then that's what you get.
yeah. Well, he was just told by the judge, if he arrests another person, he'd be arrested and put in jail. I just look at the whole thing. I look at him, and then I look at the uh the southern states, basically just the Republican parties of the southern states. And I don't understand, especially Florida, when they said that kids can't buy homes in Florida, and then they changing the African American states on slavery to read that it's going on. Hold on, that might do it. It's gone on, and it's trying to be a little bit crazy. So I don't know, but I think that that's the problem, and that's what we got to fix. So I'm gonna turn off all my devices so the internet may speed up. Anyway, what do
Terry,
y'all think on
before
that
we
for?
get to that, before we do that, man, and it's a little segue into our topics tonight. On May the 9th, 2023, a New York jury in a civil case found Trump liable for sexual abuse and defamation against Carroll, but found him not liable for rape. They awarded Miss Carroll $5 million in damages, and this guy is still able to run for president of the United States. That is absolutely credible.
I don't understand that. I mean, when you and then she took him to court again. I think got him 10 million this time, and he's fighting that one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Like I said before, I just think the Republicans are just a little bit out of line. Ladies, before we move on, y'all got anything y'all want to add to that? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut y'all off.
Mm, I don't have anything else as far as that.
But just to see
Okay.
how it will play out.
Yeah.
See how it works. Well, I know y'all in the South, so I ain't mad at you. I understand. But
Yeah, we're waiting on
we're gonna
Georgia.
see what Georgia do.
Yes,
We're gonna
absolutely.
see what Georgia do.
That's I'm gonna leave it
Anyway,
there.
so today we're gonna talk, we got a somewhat of an expert here with Henry. That's what he does for a living.
Somewhat of an
So
expert.
we're gonna let Henry come in here, and ladies, I guess the biggest question for and ladies, you tell me if I'm wrong. Uh, what is sexual harassment?
I had did some research and it's saying that sexual harassment is a form of sex discrimination illegally under the federal law. So it can be unwelcome sexual advances, sexual favors, jokes, comments, or any other verbal or physical conduct.
And it could be somebody else that witnesses that particular behavior, um, can be subject to sexual harassment too by even witnessing what's happening in the workplace.
What you say there, Inspector Gadget?
Well, first of all, it's man, this is a broad subject, brother. You know, because it's not restricted just to women.
Right.
Uh, it can be male, male, female, female, male, female. And if there are situations that a person says something or does something or just inadvertently puts your hand on the person's shoulder or rubs their back or something like that, that's harassment. If that person says, please don't say that to me, don't talk
Mm-hmm.
like that around me, don't touch me, please
Hmm.
refrain from touching me, then at that point you're becoming liable for a harassment situation. So you have to be very, very careful of what you hear, say, do, and so forth. You know, so a young man walked into my office and said, "Man, I got a problem. I got a serious problem." And I immediately told him, I said, "Dude, we don't have any problems. We got nothing but opportunities here." He said, "Well, I've got a serious drinking opportunity."
Here goes Henry for his punchlines, for his joke punchlines.
I well, I mean,
Ha ha ha.
if you don't make it lively, we might lose a couple of viewers not checking this out today. But I agree with everything that you said, because the definition of a sexual harassment is unwanted sexual
Mhm.
conduct, submissive to is made such as either implicit or implicit. So that means if someone says that, but I got a question for you, Henry. Say I said something to Vonda or Denise and they said no, and I stopped. Am I still doing sexual harassment, or since I stopped when they said no, am I safe?
Absolutely, absolutely. You are safe at that point. If you stop, you make an
Okay.
apology. Hey, I'm sorry. I
Mhm.
apologize. I did not mean to offend you, and that will never ever
Okay.
happen again. It stops at that point there, so you're totally safe. But if you continue to make those remarks, just say you say something to Vonda and you do apologize to Vonda, but you go over to Joe's table or Joe's cubicle and you say, "Man, can you believe what Vonda just said or did?" That's still a problem at that point, indeed. At that
That's
point.
still a problem. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
had read it
have
that
y'all
they
ever heard
said
of,
the most common
go ahead.
the
Go ahead,
most
Denise.
common reported harassment in a workplace is sexual harassment. They're saying that's the most
Yeah, it
common
is.
reported harassment in the workplace.
Would anyone disagree? Does anybody disagree with that?
Uh, Sexual harassment is, I don't have the numbers to back that up, but yes, I would think it was very, very high on it. Also, a hostile work environment
Right.
is
Mhm.
very, very high. You know,
Mhm.
you could be um, threatened on a job. Uh, you could be physically assaulted. It's just a hostile work environment. Tones, accusations can make an environment very, very hostile for you to work in, and very, very untight. I mean, I'm sorry, uncomfortable.
That is true. That is true. That is true. I just think that the producer said there's verbal, physical, and what was the other one? Appearance.
Visual.
Visual, visual.
Hmm.
Visual, visual.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you
visual and
can look at
physical.
somebody and
Yeah.
and you looking like you could just eat them up or whatever, lusting after somebody, and they look at you and you looking at them in a in that type of way, I could see that being a visual harassment.
Well, what happens
Oh,
when you're maybe it's your personality to be very personable, and your coworker takes it the wrong way and reports that as sexual harassment when you're just being, friendly, and maybe they read into it wrong.
that is true. That is true. I got written up once when I got out of the Navy, and it was my second job when I got out. And I was a guy asked me how I hurt my back, and unfortunately, I told him the story. We were in the break room, and I don't know if it was because I said the statement because I was talking to him, or it was because I was a better counselor. I had stepped up my counselor skills from the Navy, and I used those to do the job at a junior college. And but I simply said, and you ladies, let Henry, all three of y'all, let me know if this is sexual harassment. I said, the guy said, "What happened?" I said, "Well, I was squatting, and the mirror was in front of us, and my partner told me, 'Woo, look.'" And I had my head up like this because I got the weights on my shoulders. And then this is exactly what I said. I looked forward and I described it like this. I said, nowadays, when those ladies wear spandex pants, they have undergarments sewn in them. I said, but back in this time, they didn't have undergarments sewn in them. Lord behold, right after lunch, I went back to my office and there was a note to go see the dean, and they let me go. And I said, I didn't say it to any woman. I was at the table. And he said, well, they were offended. I was like, but I was describing the situation. I wasn't. But I was smarter than them. When I got the note, I knew exactly what had happened. Because like I said earlier, the lady I got her big office. After about 3 weeks there, they changed me to the big office since I had more students coming in. And then I understood what it was about. So I packed up my little box and took it with me. But Henry, would that be classified as sexual harassment
What should have
because
happened
I
in
told a story, not
what should have happened in that case?
I'm
What
sorry.
should have happened in that case? If someone heard your remarks and they found it offensive, they should have brought it to you and saying, "Hey, please don't talk like that around me." In that case, I don't see how legally you could have lost your job in that particular instance because of what they said, and this was the first time, unless you've done this multiple times, and it was talked to you and
No.
told you that you have to refrain from that. But I don't see how you could have lost your job in a first time instance, and it was never brought to your attention by anyone that was said that way. So I
Well,
don't I wouldn't
I'm
agree with that.
I had already got the railroad job, so it didn't hurt my feelings. I just had an extra
Mhm,
week off. That's all. But
mhm.
it still bothers me to the day that someone thought that I sexually harassed them, and I was talking to a guy. I didn't say, hey, she looked like her anyway. But that's the kind of things that I think, just from my personal experience, that is sexual harassment. And also when I was in the military, of course you always got the joking and all that, and the flirting, but when someone said no or stop, continue, then you got written up for sexual harassment. Would y'all ladies agree on that? That's what we agreed earlier. You have to say something.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yes, if
I want to bring up something here in a minute or two. I know you're about to do your station break, but I'll bring up something after your station break here in just 1 second. That I was
I can
thinking.
do it early.
Okay, okay.
I'll do it early so you won't interrupt you. Thanks for tuning in to TAN TV, the African American Network. We have a local feel, a global reach. You're watching Out of Bounds, and we're talking about sexual harassment on the workplace and where does the line draw? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, one of the
Go ahead,
situations,
Henry.
it's going to take a couple of minutes. One of the situations that I was faced with here very, very recently, uh, in the office, you have the male restroom and you have the female restroom. And this guy that came in, this person that came in, was a driver dressed as a female, but he had male parts. Okay. So he was transgender. So he went to the
Hmm.
women's restroom, and there was a lady in there. She immediately came out of the restroom and said, "Hey, you got to do something because I'm uncomfortable with the person being in the restroom." And that led to us having to do a unisexed bathroom. We had to add another restroom, which but what a transgender person goes with, whatever gender that they claim, is what they do. Even if it's a male going into, I mean, can you imagine a male going, if you, one of the ladies, are in the restroom and a transgender male comes in, or well, a transgender female comes in, and you're there. I mean, that's going to make you very, very uncomfortable. So, but I was told that I had to do something about that immediately. And if I did not, I was going to take it up further with the human resources, with the corporate level. So, and that's why we had to make the necessary changes and so forth.
Wow, that's crazy. Hello, Laura's watching us. Hey, Laura, how you doing? You, ladies, y'all got a comment on that since they was in your bathroom?
Yeah, I would feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah, I would feel uncomfortable. I could see that happening. I would feel uncomfortable with that.
Yes. My first
Vonda?
experience with that. My first experience with that was I was at a conference in Dallas, and that's when I was first introduced to the pronouns, and it was all new to me. And I had that experience with the restrooms as well, and it was very uncomfortable. So I started going to my room and to use the restroom because and it was new to me. It was new to me, and it comes with learning and understanding. About um, about how it is these days, about accepting or being accepting or of you know the gender aspect. Not saying it's bad. I'm just
Well, first,
it's a learning curve for
Well,
me.
listen, I can say all the bad things. Y'all just say all the positive things. I'd like to say hello to hanging cute with keeping it cute with Kisa. She just came on. Hi, Kisa.
hey,
Hello. Hi,
Uh,
everyone.
What's up, Keisha?
Hey.
I I think it would if I was a woman, I would really be afraid to be in there in the stall, relaxing and doing whatever I'm doing. And there's a dude, well, I'm sorry, there's a transgender woman in there, and she is using the restroom because you really, I mean, you don't know if this the pervert or is that's what they're really doing. I I think what Henry said and what I see at some of the at 24-hour fitness gym is they have a bathroom where it can be locked for them. It just says it just has both signs up there. So
Hmm.
I think that's a good way to do it. But I think as a woman, I'd be afraid. I'd be afraid if well, I wouldn't be afraid. I'd be kind of if I was standing there at the urinal and the chick came in and she stood next to the urinal, and I would be a little worried about that. You know, just being honest. I mean, I understand the rights and all this, but you know, sometimes your right shouldn't go against the physical laws of other. I mean, if you want to be a woman, that's your business. But if you were a man, then you can handle yourself in the men's bathroom. I understand you grown women can handle that, but I get a little nervous about my grandchildren being in there with something happening or any kid. That's the experience. What do y'all agree about that? Go
I
ahead.
agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%, man. And you look at today's society, it's getting younger and younger now,
yeah,
um, much younger. I mean, you have 13, 12, 13-year-old children that are very, very vulnerable at an age, but you also have TV programs, commercials that is basically saying this is okay. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're sending. I was going to say they're sending subliminal messages, but the messages are not subliminal. They are very much out there in saying that. But, but,
Yeah.
but yes, but back to the workplace, man. You just have to be very, very careful and on top of your game because people, let's just say if Jane Doe walks past me and I look at Jane Doe and just continue to eye her down, that is that can be ruled as harassment. If she
Yep.
says something, or if another person sees me looking at that or looking at her in a particular way, that's not good. Of course, harassment can come in all kinds of forms. Like you said, I can say something um, to Keisha, about whatever she's wearing, her clothes or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
the way she's dressed.
exactly. So that's
Mhm.
They said something about you could say something about someone's body type, the body type of a person. I had read that they said making fun of the body type of a person can be harassment.
no Keisha.
That's crazy. He said, no, she can't talk. You know everybody
I
is.
think I think that's harassment, Keisha.
Well,
Look,
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna
You want to
be
say something? Go ahead.
yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. My daddy raised me to where it takes a lot to offend me. However, when it comes to my children, I am very overprotective, and that just goes back to I don't know if you all have been seeing everything on social media with Jess Hilarious and the transgender and all that that's going on. But when it comes to my children, I just am not comfortable. Um, and I feel that it is harassment when a transgender individual is in the restroom. Also, I feel uncomfortable. I had a boss who was having an affair with our other boss. And although everybody knew about it, I felt uncomfortable because I felt like a child watching their parents. And so that right there, I thought was harassment. I don't know if that was something that I could have turned in or another employee could have turned in, but it was extremely uncomfortable.
Mhm. Keisha, you make a very good point, Keisha, because when my children were small, the neighbors would say, "We having a swim party, invite the kids over and so forth." So I brought the kids over, and my son and daughter, which they're 4 years apart, and they said, "Well, oh, Henry, you can drop them off and leave." I said, "Dude, there is no way that I'm
Mhm.
going to drop my kids off and leave at a swimming party with y'all here." The adults was drinking, and you should have seen some of the bathing suits
Right.
that these little kids was wearing. You know what I'm saying? And I think after a while, I just basically said, "Look, it's time for us to go because this is not our type of environment that we
Yeah.
want." And then to see some of the parents what they were wearing and drinking in front of the kids and so forth. It was more of a parent party than a kid get together, and I felt a certain way. So, but I just removed myself from that situation, and I removed my children from that situation.
I, I agree with that. But I got a good question for all four of you. Job advertisements, and also as Henry said earlier, the commercials that we see on TV, they seem to always have three things always. Uh, Interracial couples, which is, anywhere it can be either sex could be married to the either sex. They always have some type of gay couple in there, and they also has a transgender person in there. And I understand that they're trying to reach everybody, but for people who don't want to see that, is that offensive? Would it be it's offensive? I don't like to see the commercial where the two guys kiss. I'm not saying I want to see girls kiss, but I don't want to see two guys kiss. period. Because that's kind of like, you know, I'm not saying I'm homophobic or whatever that word is. I'm just, if you're gay, that's your business, but I don't want to see it. What do y'all think about those commercials and the advertisements, especially for the even some jobs that they do that for some jobs? What do you think about that? Go
I'm,
ahead.
I'm
It
Oh,
don't bother me.
no.
No.
okay.
It doesn't bother me because I feel, I don't know, I just feel that everybody has the right to love who they want to love. I mean, what somebody does, it doesn't affect me. That's just how I feel.
That's because you young. Go ahead.
No, I mean, you have to think about it. And I think about it like this. You know, back in the day, they tried to tell black people what they could and can't do. And we had to fight for rights to, for everything, to vote and things like that. So I look at people that are interracial relationships or who, same sex marriage and things like that. And they're fighting for the right to have to love who they want to love, to be who they want to be. And I honestly don't think that that affects me until it's in my children's face. I am old enough to understand, you know, where it comes from, but it don't bother me.
Not true.
I always say be yourself.
I can agree with what you're saying, Keisha, because it doesn't affect me either. But the child is what's so impressionable. It's just like
Yeah.
I was at the barbershop getting my beard trimmed up, and these two guys came in with a little girl, and he said, "Man, this is our daughter," and okay, I don't that's your life. I'm cool with it. But
Yeah, that's true.
the little girl is who I'm concerned about. Is she going to be able to understand what that is, what it is? So, um, but back to the commercials, Terry. Gillette, and I just thought about this with Gillette, the razor people, has a commercial where a woman, she's in her underwear, but she's basically shaving her pubic
Oh, I
area.
know you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, dude, you're promoting sexism like that, and it's just what I'm saying. The we've come a long way. We're in a different space and so forth, but then when you say something, a person, if they say something to a person, then they can take it in the wrong way. Then that's when you
Mhm.
have to recant all of your activities, if that makes sense what I'm saying.
Ladies, ladies, Vonda, Denise, hello.
We're here. Um, it really doesn't bother me. I'm
Okay,
like
okay.
Keisha
We'll
said.
talk about this for a little bit, we'll go to something else. This might be a little sticky. But anyway, check this out. What do y'all think about back to the political side since we're talking about stuff like this? I saw DeSantis and I heard Trump and I heard a couple other Republican guys running for president stating that Joe Biden was a little too old, and what you really vote for is Kamala. So my question to y'all is: is that I understand is that her sexual harassment, racial harassment, or both?
Keisha, I'll let you go first.
Oh, y'all fixing to be mad at me.
No,
But
no,
he is old. He's old. Um
that's harassment, Keisha.
it might be. It
That's
might be. But
harassment.
you know what? You have age limits on pilots. You have age limits on a lot of stuff. And it gets to a point where you are too old to be making policies for young America, and those are coming up. He's too old. As far as Kamala, she is my soror. However, I would like to see her more. I'd like to see her do more for our people.
I
Before you guys
understand.
chime in on that, tune in to Tan TV.
Yeah,
hold on, Henry. Let me get this out the way.
My bad.
Thanks for tuning in to Tan TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach. You're listening to Out of Bounds, and Henry's about to say something. Go ahead, Henry.
All right, Keisha, I'm gonna hit you like hammer right now, okay? You said Joe is too old, okay? I'm gonna tell you like Cat Williams said in his concert. Y'all leave Joe alone. Joe is 95 years old. Just leave Joe alone. You know, Joe is
Exactly.
96. Joe is 96 years old. So just leave Joe alone. You know,
That's like what was the Kentucky senator who he too old. It's time
Mitch
for him
McConnell.
to sit down and rest and enjoy them great grandbabies he has.
Well, you know, I look at it like this when I look at Joe, since you brought up his age. The president really don't run crap. He's just a figurehead, and he's the one that takes all the crap. One old white guy, another old white guy, old black guy, I don't care. But my biggest question was they didn't make it seem like that. They said you're going to end up with the vice president as your president, like, you know, she ain't gonna be no good or whatever. And all I'm saying is that can't be that. There has to be some form of harassment. And I was wondering if she'd go after him, you know, because that is sexual harassment.
That's discrimination. That's age discrimination. You can't discriminate against person.
Okay.
And I doubt they can go after him. Look at all the other stuff they've said about Trump has said about women and people of color. So I don't know. And DeSantis. I don't know how they got away with a lot of stuff they've done.
Okay, but now here comes the good parts, ladies. What do you say to me if I'm on your job and I go, girl, I sure like to get with you? What are you gonna say? Not you, Keisha, because that ain't for you, but the other two.
Depends on who you are.
It
Depends on who you are.
Do I know you?
or hey, I you know, I may have had my eye on you as well.
Yeah.
So it takes a turn there.
Yeah. That's a big difference if I'm been looking at you.
That's a big difference. Also, it's okay to say, hey, how you doing? And then if you like how I'm doing, then you can say, okay. But if you don't like what I'm doing, then I get fired. That's like a double standard from the same words.
You know, I don't want anybody to lose their job in this day and time. Everybody needs their job. It has to be really something for me to report it as sexual harassment. Maybe touching me, now that's out of bounds. And so, you know, things of that nature, and maybe being vulgar, but you know, it would have to be something really drastic for me.
So Vonda, if I walked up to you at homecoming and, hey, Vonda, how you doing? I put my arm on your shoulder or I hug you. Am I out of bounds?
No, absolutely not.
I know you.
No, long as yeah, it's a hug.
Okay. You better say that to him.
But if you put your arms around me and then your hand slips down to my breast, then we go talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, he like, you know what his problem is? I'm gonna tell you what his problem is. He think he Donald Trump. He think he can grab you by your breast. That's what he think. Is that what you're trying to say, Henry?
No.
I'm not with you. Laura said
that back to the restrooms. I just saw her comment. Laura said that she gets offended when they're in there too, and she don't like it. You know, I only look at the grown women because I figure grown women can handle themselves. I was more looking at the young people due to the influence that they come up with. But Henry, let's go to something else. And ladies, including Keith, everybody can chime in on that. I'm walking down the hall and I just came from the gym. I'm going to the locker room. My little tiny muscles are showing. And they look. And I don't say anything. Is that sexual harassment, Henry?
No, sir. I don't think that's sexual harassment. No.
Yes, because it's my daddy. Yes.
More protective.
Okay.
Lisa.
Well, it was a younger, handsomer man that was walking
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Lord said she teaches
if you're
her
in that
grandsons to keep
setting
her
too,
hand
and
quiet.
you got a t-shirt on, and you're sweating, and you know people may look. I tell you what, I'll give you a prime example. We were in South Beach, Florida, and my wife and I did not know the type beach that we were on. So this lady came right beside us and sat down and immediately took her top off. And I said, "Oh boy, here we go." You know. So my wife said, "Okay, let's move. Let's move." I said, "We don't have to move." She said, "Yes, we do. We have to move." Okay, so we moved and got down, and then here comes this guy in this little speedo deal, and I said, "Hell, let's move! Come on, let's move!" She said, "No, we ain't going nowhere," but we didn't move. What's up with that?
Well, now there should be a sign up saying nude, but nude beach. But
Yes.
hey, you know, uh,
Well, Henry, did
that's a
you take
good
your
thing
clothes
too.
off?
No, ma'am, I did not.
You should have said, Denise. You should have said, "Big Daddy, did you take your clothes off?"
That's right,
That's
Big
what you should
Daddy.
have said.
That's what you're telling us. Yeah, that's what you're telling us, Big Daddy. It probably was different. You probably did take your clothes off.
No,
See, we
I'm
go
pretty
to.
sure he
I
did. The
feel
magic word was
harassed.
his wife.
I feel harassed. Okay.
Oh, so you're being harassed now.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying because I mean, sexual harassment. If it's okay, if you walk up to somebody uh, anywhere at a bar and you hug one woman and you go, "Hey, you know this woman," you hug her, you don't kiss her, you go, "Wow, you looking very nice," and she's got a friend there. And you start to hug her, and she bags up. But you say, "Well, you look." You don't continue to hug. You say, "Well, you're looking nice too." What is that?
It's a compliment.
Yes, and you
Yeah,
respecting her
she said
boundary.
no and you backed up.
Right.
Okay. Okay. I'm just asking. You know, I see the guys doing that all the time, and I just be wondering. You know, are they being too forward? You know, because you see it all the time when you go to a bar. A woman's buying a drink by herself, and it's, you know, the old cats be hanging about the bar because they can't chase them. They stationary to get a conversation, and that's what happens. So I was
But
just asking that question.
Terry, also, women harass men as well too now.
That's true.
So
But you know, I don't think
But
we
it's more
find it
prevalent the other
offensive.
way, men
Yeah,
versus
I don't think
women.
men find it offensive, Vonda, if you're a beautiful woman. You know what I'm saying? If you're beautiful and a man and a woman go, I like to get some of that. We just smile and keep on going. Unless you Big Daddy. Not this Big Daddy, the other Big Daddy.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Henry. I mean, uh,
Where you going?
oh, wait a minute. The producer said something that was bad. What happens when she's not attractive to you? You shouldn't have been looking then. You shouldn't have said nothing. That's what I say. But Denise disappeared. She might have lost internet. What's wrong, Keisha? What you thinking?
I think it's okay to shoot your shot at somebody if you find them attractive. Whether that person is attractive or not, it's okay to shoot your shot. Where it gets to me, where it turns into harassment is after you shoot your shot and I say no and you continue with it and I have told you I am not interested and you continue to shoot your shot, I think to me that's when it turns into harassment. But you giving me a compliment or asking, can you buy me a drink? I just think that that's a compliment and that is the game of dating. But when I tell you no, leave me alone, and you continue to do it, then that's where the problem lies.
100%, Keisha.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, what do you think, Vonda? Give us your personal IQ on it. Idea on that one. IQ. I'm
I mean,
sorry.
I agree with her wholeheartedly. Please respect my
Yeah.
boundaries. Don't be disrespectful because if you don't respect my boundaries, then that's what you're being disrespectful and it's unwanted. And yes, that leads to sexual harassment.
Exactly.
Okay. I was
Exactly.
just
One hundred
I was
percent.
just wondering, do you think that when you like at a nightclub or a bar or something like that, that it should be a sign stating sexual harassment, even though 9 times out of 10 you might see the sign and read it when you go in. Sure enough, after 2 or 3 drinks, ain't nobody gonna remember what they saw. But legally, it sets the tone for if you do something wrong. Would y'all agree?
I think
Um,
that
I,
I think in most cases it is posted. I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I will be looking at that. But I think that um, lets the establishment um, off the hook, so to speak, because there is a posting there and so forth. But like you said, once you have 2 or 3 drinks in you, then I think people tend to go in a different direction. So
That's true. That is true. Producer said that's correct. So I just think that it's she says it's a requirement to have it up. I was just wondering why, because I think other than the workplace, uh, in my opinion, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Uh, the number one spot is places that sell alcohol, and the second place I would say is the gym because uh, and I be telling young guys this all the time. Just because a chick got on them spandex short don't mean she might want you to look, but she don't want you to touch or say something. And I think that's the second biggest spot where
have you seen how
that
some have you seen how some women dress in church?
no. Is it like that?
Keisha,
Lord,
Keisha, am I right or wrong?
you
Okay,
got me to
so
get me a
look,
membership.
I I I go to Bedside Baptist, so I don't know, but I will say this: nowadays, it doesn't matter if you are in church, it doesn't matter if you're at work, it doesn't matter if you're in a nightclub. Them camera phones gonna catch you. So no matter how many alcoholic drinks you have, you're gonna have those cameras there. So if I say no and you continue to do it, I'm putting my phone out. We gonna record it.
Hmm.
and
Okay.
as far as
Okay.
church, I've seen it all. I've seen where you see thong imprints. It's very, very inappropriate. I know that we're in the age of come as you are, but please, people don't use common sense. They don't, they devalue themselves and they don't even realize they're doing that. I just think that um, you should be more appropriate in church. I mean, I know a lot of the youngsters have not been taught, and it's just it's a little disrespectful, but that's not to say to kick them out of the church. It's just a matter of teaching them what's respectful, and if they're open to that advice, that's great. But it tends to be really inappropriate these days, in my opinion.
I agree.
Vonda, did you
Okay.
see where the teacher went viral
Oh
for
yeah,
what she was wearing? She was wearing this. I mean, she had an amazing figure,
she
but she was
did.
wearing a very fitted, and they said that they felt it was too much
Right,
in the classroom.
right.
I did see one
Oh,
where a woman had a lot of she had a, I guess, a breast job or whatever, and that may not be the one you were talking about, but
Hmm.
I mean, and a woman, she can't help her figure.
Right.
She may be blessed with all the curves and
Mhm.
everything, but still should be mindful of the example that she's setting for, and especially for the young ladies, and not to I mean, there's places that you can wear that, and it'll be appropriate, but school, it's a line, it's a thin line there, in my opinion.
well, I'm going to say this first. Let me talk about let's do the station break. Thanks for tuning in to TAN TV, the African American Network. We have a local feel with global reach. This is Out of Bounds. We're talking about sex on the job, at the church, at the gym, wherever people say no, it means no. That's what that means. If somebody say, hey, give me some, you go, no. I don't want you to have none. But Laura said the same thing. She said that I think it's too much flesh and body parts being shown. Now, as a man, Henry, you can't say that. But as a man, he said, I heard that. As a man, you gonna look. You gonna look. I mean, that's just what it is. And ladies, y'all have to be there. She is. Y'all have to be honest. That's why you wear it, so we can look. I don't care if it's at church. I don't care if it's at the teacher.
Keisha, you shaking your head in disagreement, but Terry is 100% correct. You put them apple bottom jeans on, and the first thing you're gonna do in the mirror is turn around and look like this at what you're wearing, and then you're gonna put that little fitted thing on, the little blouse, and you're gonna look like this, and then you're gonna go out. You spotted yourself when you was in the mirror. You got the little splits with the skirts all the open on your legs, showing all your thighs, and when you get out there, the first thing you do is start adjusting it. You knew it was too short when you came out there like that, but you wanted the attention.
I'm going to tell you why I disagree with that. And it's like this. I think men think that we do stuff for them, but really we don't. I don't. We do stuff because we want other women to compliment us. We get cute for other women. We really don't get cute for y'all. And I think that that's the misconception. For example, when I get dressed and women compliment me more than men.
Yes.
And not only that, I'm with my man and I'll still post a picture. I don't post a picture for the other men. I post a picture so my friends can see Keisha was fresh to death today. It don't have nothing to do with the man. And that's just me. I know there are some women who do seek male attention and do dress like that for male attention. But I want you to know not all women do that. We do it sometimes, to get compliments from, so our girlfriends can see us, and we just want to be cute. We wear makeup because men don't like a lot of makeup. Men don't like lashes. Men don't like wigs. Men don't like this, but we wear it because we like it. And
Henry, stop it.
So that's why I'm saying I disagree, and it's just coming from the females in my life that I know.
Denise, what do you have to say about that, Denise?
Going back to, I was trying to chime in. I don't think y'all heard me. But going back to church.
Oh, here we go.
I'm an usher.
Preacher girl.
I'm an usher at my church. I usher at my church. We have young people. My pastor's young. We have a lot of college students come to my church, and different things, and we don't place any. And they wear some short stuff at my church, some inappropriate looking stuff to me. We don't place any women on the front pew of my church, period. Mm-hmm. Because we had in the past that women were going to the front of the church with stuff on and with their legs not appropriately and stuff like that. So we on the front pew, if you go to my church, there will be no one on the front pew of the church. Because they were trying to, I guess, entice my pastor, I guess, or whatever. And but my pastor got married, so they kind of changed. but we don't, and then we had where we would place the little scarf over their legs if it was too short. We had like these little scarf things we would place over their legs. But we just don't place anybody up there now.
So I guess they wanted the pastor to come lay hands on them and heal them.
Well, I'm child, Henry. I don't think my oldest child got the briefing. What I told the other two of her sisters, the same thing I'm about to repeat here. If it look like a duck, walk like a duck. It's a duck.
It's a duck.
So when you out there with your clothes and them little holes in the side, and you dressing for your girlfriend, remember Tom Slick over there looking too, and he gonna say something to you. So take the good with the bad. That's all I got to say. I'm a daddy of 3 grown women, and I say that all the
Yeah,
time.
but what are your women
Whatever.
what are your 3 grown women disagreeing?
I know, but
I
that's
agree with
that's. I mean,
Keisha.
you grown and you supposed to disagree. But I'm telling you from a male's point of view,
I agree with
from a
Keisha.
male's point of
I
view.
I put on clothes to make me feel the way I want to feel.
Thank
Now, if you want to look, that's up to you. But I'm gonna dress to what I want to dress in, and to look nice, on me.
Okay,
Yes.
Then
so
it's up
let's
to the
get away
man if
from
he wants to
harassment.
look.
Talking
That's
about
up to
Right. It
him.
don't matter if it's sweatpants. A man gonna look.
Yeah,
It don't
yeah,
matter. It does not matter. I could be from with a turtleneck on, sweatpants. They gonna look.
that's right.
Hmm.
I see no
well,
evil.
all I can
I
say is
see
this.
no evil.
Uh, I bet you do.
All I can say is this, lady. All I can say is this. I may be old fashioned, but I agree with everything that you're saying. That you do have the right to dress what you want to dress like, but you have to understand that some men, especially after have a couple of drinks, don't respect that. So you're going to get those disrespectful calls, and if you can handle them, or the person you're with can handle them, uh, I'm good with that. But I just think that it's not the same thing for men. If a man go in there and he dress how he want, Lord have mercy. And I ain't talking about the fellas. The fellas cut him up too, but the women slice him in pieces. So let's just talk about that. Let's just talk about culture for a second. Let's get away from sexual harassment. Is that okay? A woman can, I mean, she could be 75 years old wearing some hip hugging pants and a push-up bra and no things on her waist, and that's okay. But if a guy walk in there, oh Lord, what's wrong with him? Did he shop at Home Depot or something? What's going on with that? Come on, ladies, help us out because we need to know. Ain't that right, Henry? We need to know.
That's right, my brother. I'm waiting.
Oh,
Hello,
man.
crickets.
You hear that? You hear
I
that
mean,
cricket? You
I
hear that cricket?
don't care what y'all
Care.
wear.
Right.
I don't care. Here's the thing. When I'm attracted first physically. So if I am attracted to you physically, it's going to be because you're clean cut, you look like you smell good, and things like that. I don't care I don't care if you shop at Ross. I don't care if you shop at Gucci. I don't care. It's an aura that you get is what attracts me. What I don't understand is, to me, I feel like it's home training. If I want to walk out the house with some shorts on, a crop top, to me, it's on the man to control himself. To me, it's on him to be respectful. I think that's just how I feel. What I wear should have nothing to do with how a man approaches me. I don't care if I have no clothes on. He should still be respectful and just leave me alone.
Well, okay. Let's see how this works, Henry.
Go, Henry.
No,
Remember, you once told us.
I'm telling you.
I just
Henry,
honestly don't. I feel like
if she,
you
Keisha
should have
just said
control
it,
of
Keisha just-
yourself. You
Keisha
shouldn't.
just-
That to me, that's, if I say no, leave me alone.
Okay, so Keisha, you just said if you don't have no clothes on, if you walking down the street,
I wasn't saying.
you know
Go
what I'm saying?
ahead.
And you walking north and I'm walking south. If we be going, just with all your hallelujah out there, what am supposed to say? What am I supposed to say? Hey,
You can be like, ooh, I mean, all I'm saying is, all I'm saying
You better
is,
call me. She gonna get a spanking.
Yeah.
that's why I be trying to
Harry,
block
you
my
see
damn
Keisha
notes on
out
my
here?
post. But look, all I'm saying is, there's going to be comments. I understand that. But at what point do we hold men accountable for the things that they say and how they react to women? Because I can be in a business suit,
That's
going
right.
to work, and it's still going to be something because I have curves. So when do we stop saying women shouldn't wear this, women shouldn't do this, women shouldn't walk like this? When do we hold men accountable for how they react?
Okay, that's fair. But let me ask you a question. Last show, Henry was talking about one of his frat brothers that came to homecoming in the October in a tank top, all out on. He was all flexing all his muscles. And at the fish fry, not the fish fry, at the fish fry thing that we had going by the chapter, some little girl tried to grab his booty.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you think I'm lying, producer, type on there. I'm telling the truth. What's wrong with that? And that
I think she was out of order. I think she was out of order.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it goes both ways, but on here
that's
we're saying
all I want to know.
No, I think she was out of order. Yeah. She was out of
she
order.
said, look, yes, she saw it too.
Yeah. And I mean, I see men. Just the other day, I saw Lance Gross, fine chocolate man, tall, handsome. You think I didn't do a double take?
You should have if you didn't.
I did. I did a double take. But the thing about it is,
you see what I'm hearing?
I feel like that's where it's when you can look and don't touch type of thing. Yes, producer, I sure did.
Let's hope she did.
And it's all in your response. How you? It's all in the response.
Respect. Okay, Laura. Laura says it's about respect.
Respect.
So I guess as long as you do it
right.
respectful, and not no Google eyes and hair on fire and all that good stuff. If you do it respectful, I guess that's okay. So next time I see them, I compliment them anyway. I just say they look nice, and I don't even give them a second glance because first of all, I can't run, and I'm too old to be fighting their boyfriend, so I ain't looking. Just leave that alone right there. If they too close to 43, I leave below because that's just wrong. That's just wrong.
That's
should never date. There you go. You shouldn't do that. But with that being said, we about out of time. We're gonna stay on a little longer. I guess I might see what the producer says. She can answer this. We're gonna bring up a little bit about Keisha. So I don't know when we're gonna bring it up. We're gonna go a little over or not, and let her do some talking. And you are welcome to stay. We're gonna give a plug for her show right now. Okie dokie, then here we go. Put it on a big screen. Let her give her plug for her new upcoming show next week. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. So look, next week we have Keeping It Cute with Keisha because that's what we do. We keep it cute. My first show, I've got the ladies that I went to college at Austin P with. We are going to talk about being Black women, how we navigate things, how we handle relationships, jobs, kids, and all that stuff. And it's going to be amazing. I think this show, no topic. We're going to talk about everything. And as you see, I have a lot to say. I'm going to bring Henry on the show because I like debating with Mr. Henry.
I feel harassed.
Oh, my.
I'll be there with a bunch of women.
I think I need to bring Vonda and Denise because I think I'm going to need some backup.
Vonda's kind of quiet, but that Denise.
No, I think me and Vonda we can get them together.
Yeah,
I think, but yeah, Vonda's got her part, but that Denise, boy, watch this. Go ahead, say it, Denise. Say it to him. Shut him up. Say it to him. What you gonna call him?
Big Daddy, Big Daddy, Kane, Big Daddy.
I love it. Okay. Hey, we are about out of time. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Vonda for showing up, Denise for showing up, Henry showing up, and I want to thank my oldest baby girl for showing her new show out. I hope everybody on TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all them other places. Is Twitter X now? And check her out. Give her some love and support. And thanks for tuning in to TAN TV, the African American Network. We have a local feel with a global reach. This is T-Rex and Henry, Vonda, Keith, Niece. We all say peace out. And we'll be looking
Peace,
at your booty, girls,
Tuesdays.
if you got some clothes on.
Bye bye.
Bye.